You treat her like a queen. Flowers, sweet texts, thoughtful dates, constant affection. You show her she's the only one in the world who matters to you. And yet, she pulls away. You sit there wondering, what did I do wrong? I did everything right. But maybe that's exactly the problem. Now listen to me carefully. Women don't get addicted to men who put them on pedestals. They don't crave the ones who make them the center of their universe from day one. They get addicted to the men who make them question just a little. The ones they can't quite figure out. The men who act like they're not even trying. Because mystery is magnetic. Certainty is safe, but it's also boring. Attraction doesn't follow logic. It follows emotion. And when you give her everything up front, when she doesn't have to earn your attention, your validation, or your time, she doesn't value it. Deep down, it's not about being mean or manipulative. It's about value. We are wired to chase what we believe is rare. And if you're too available, too eager, you don't seem rare. You seem replaceable. This goes back to something ancient. Deep in her biology, she's wired to want the best possible mate. Someone strong, confident, and grounded. Someone who doesn't get thrown off just because she didn't text back fast enough. When a woman senses that you're too invested too soon, she doesn't see it as romantic. She sees it as a red flag. It feels like desperation, like you need her to feel good about yourself. And nothing kills attraction faster than neediness. Here's where most nice guys lose the game before it even starts. They think giving more means getting more. So, they overcompensate. They're constantly available, constantly complimenting, constantly chasing. And while they think they're building love, they're actually draining the mystery. The truth is, women want a man whose time and attention feels earned, not given freely to anyone who shows interest. Have you ever noticed how the guy who barely pays her any attention becomes the one she can't stop thinking about? It's not because he's better looking. It's not because he has more money. It's because he triggers something psychological. Uncertainty. That unpredictable behavior. One day he texts back in 5 minutes. The next day it's 5 hours. Creates a reward loop in her brain. It's called intermittent reinforcement. And it's the same principle that makes slot machines addictive. You never know when the reward is coming, so you keep playing. The problem with being too consistent early on is that it removes the emotional highs and lows. When she always knows what you'll say, when you'll call, how much you like her, it becomes predictable. And predictable isn't sexy. Predictable feels safe, but safe doesn't create obsession. And it's not just about playing hard to get. It's about living like you're already full with or without her. A man who lives in abundance isn't trying to convince her of his worth. He's already convinced. And that confidence, that emotional independence is what draws her in. Women test men all the time, and most don't even realize they're doing it. She might bring up another guy, cancel a date last minute, act distant or cold just to see how you respond. These are subconscious ways she's checking your strength. If you react with jealousy, insecurity, or start chasing harder, she sees you as weak. But if you stay calm, centered, and unbothered, you pass the test. You show her that your value doesn't depend on her mood, and that makes her feel safe and intrigued at the same time. See, when a woman senses you need her approval, she stops wanting to give it. Women are attracted to men who lead, who are grounded in their frame, who don't break just because someone's energy shifts. That's why the so-called bad boys always seem to get the girl. It's not because they treat her well. It's because they treat themselves like they matter. They don't try to prove anything. They assume they're the prize, and she naturally responds to that energy. Meanwhile, the nice guy is trying to win her over. He's texting her good morning every day, planning out perfect dates, always making sure she's comfortable. And while all of that seems like the right thing to do, it's too much, too soon. There's no tension, no chase, no emotional contrast. And without that, attraction fades. The paradox is that the guy who cares less often gets more because he doesn't overwhelm her with attention. He lets her wonder. He lets her think. He gives her space to miss him. And that space, that's where the desire grows. Desire lives in distance. It thrives in uncertainty. And women crave that contrast, the push and pull, the hot and cold. It's what keeps the emotional fire burning. So, how do you actually apply this without turning into some cold, distant jerk? Start with your mindset. Even if you don't have a ton of options, act like you do. Talk to her like your time is valuable, like your presence is something to be earned, not assumed. Don't drop everything just because she texted. Don't rearrange your schedule to fit hers.
Keep your center.
Keep your life. Keep your purpose. Women are drawn to men who have a clear sense of direction, not men who ask, "What do you want to do tonight?" But men who say, "Be ready at 8. I've got something planned." That kind of energy is magnetic. It makes her feel like she can trust you to lead. And in that trust, she relaxes. She becomes feminine. She starts chasing you, not the other way around. And when you do give validation, let it be earned. Compliment her when she shows up in a way that aligns with the kind of woman you want. Reward behavior, not existence. Don't tell her she's beautiful every 5 minutes. Tell her she's amazing when she brings value, when she's kind, when she's thoughtful, when she supports your vision. That's how you create a feedback loop that deepens attraction. Here's something you need to burn into your brain. Love is not the same as attraction. A woman can love how kind you are, how much you care, how supportive you've been, but still not feel that raw desire. Because attraction is about polarity. It's about the space between you, not the closeness. Too much closeness too soon kills the spark. You might be thinking, but I want real connection. And that's fair. But the way to real connection isn't by overgiving. It's by showing up as a grounded man who can offer both care and challenge. A man who can hold her, but also let her go. Who can be warm, but also walk away if needed. That duality, that balance is what keeps her coming back. So, the next time you feel the urge to double text, to overexplain, to seek her approval, pause, take a breath, ask yourself, am I doing this because it's genuine or because I'm afraid of losing her? If it's fear, don't act. Fear kills attraction. Confidence fuels it. Women get addicted to men who are centered. Men who don't need to prove their worth. Men who act like they're everything with or without her because that kind of energy is rare. That kind of energy is magnetic. So, stop begging. Stop overgiving. Stop chasing. Become the man she fears losing. And finally, let me leave you with this. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have all the answers or play every move right. You just need to stay awake. Stay aware. Start listening to the things you've been trained to ignore. Your gut, your discomfort, your own emotional weather. Because every time you ignore it for someone who seems nice, you teach yourself to betray your own truth. And trust me, the day you stop betraying that truth, you'll feel it. You'll walk differently. You'll speak differently. You'll see people for who they are, not who they pretend to be, when they want something from you. So don't be afraid to walk away from what doesn't feel right. That's not a weakness.